Hey everyone, my name is Katie and I am a fourth year first grade teacher, and I film teaching and lifestyle vlogs and teaching content here on YouTube, and I'm so glad you're here for today's video. Today's video is going to be a little Q&A video. I submit a question box on my Instagram account and on my YouTube community page asking you guys to ask me anything. And so today in this video, I'm just going to share the answers to the questions that you guys had for me, and we're going to go ahead and jump in. Before I get started answering the questions, I did want to say thank you to Zenith for sponsoring today's video. Zenith is a company that sells glasses, prescription, non-prescription, blue light, sunglasses, all kinds of eyewear online. All you have to do is go onto their website, type in your prescription or the specifications that you would like for your glasses, and they will prepare them and ship them to you. I have worn glasses since I was in fourth grade. That's when I got my first pair of glasses. And then when I started sixth grade, I started wearing contacts. So I'm mostly just a glasses at night kind of person. And if my contacts are acting up, or especially like down here in Florida when it's humid and my contacts are dry, or my eyes feel itchy, I definitely switch to my glasses at times like that. And I use them all the time at night. So I really don't like paying super high dollar for glasses at the eye doctor because I only use them at those specific times. So in the last couple of years, I have really gotten into ordering glasses online because I can still submit my prescription. It's a much more affordable option for me for what I use my glasses for, and the quality that I get when I order glasses online is still really great. The first pair that I picked out, I was super excited about because these are, I don't know, would you call them hipster or like trendy glasses? I've never had a pair like this before, but these are called the Prime lenses, and I was super excited to get these. I'll show you some clips of what they look like while I'm just sharing about them. I like them because they have a thin frame and they have the tortoiseshell pattern, and I really love the tortoiseshell pattern. I've had a couple pairs of glasses with that pattern before, but I picked this pair out because it has the pads on your nose. So I picked a pair with the nose pads and then a pair without, just to kind of compare the two. And I really feel like these are great quality. I love the shape of them, how it's kind of a unique, not just like perfectly round. I really like the prescription. It is a great fit as far as my vision goes. I can see perfectly fine out of them. These are a medium size frame, and I will say when you get on their website, make sure you look at the frame size before you order, because this is probably like the biggest that I would want to go with frames would be this medium size. I feel like a large frame size would be bigger than I care for, but there are so many cute options with the large frame sizes as well. So again, this one's a medium size and it's called the Prime. Okay, my second pair is called the Buzz frame, and these are a small frame size, so I really like how these fit. I actually picked these out because Elementary with Emma on YouTube has the same glasses, and I love them on her, and I was like, I want those, and so I decided to get these. But I really like the clear frames. They fit perfect. This one does not have the nose pad on it. It's just plain and just like the plastic on the outside. Again, I've worn these to church. I've worn these out. I've worn them definitely longer than just like my usual nighttime, and I really love them. The prescription is spot on, exactly what I sent in. I can see out of them very clearly, and I just really love them. Both of the pairs that I got have the clear lenses option, but they have a lot of other choices that you can add to. You can make your prescription glasses blue light blocking. You can make them tinted in the sun. You can get polarized lenses. And then I also have the anti-reflective coating. I did do that little add-on on mine. So there's so many different ways that you can customize them to be exactly what you need. So again, huge thank you to Zenith for sponsoring today's video. You can check out their website. I have all of the information linked in the description box below, and you can also use the code ALLEN to get 50% off of your frames and 10% off of your lenses for your purchase. Okay, I'm gonna switch back to my other glasses because I like the vibe that that's giving me, and then jump right into our Q&A. All right, for the Q&A today, I've kind of split it into two different categories. So the first questions are going to be teaching related, and then the second part of the questions will be the ones that were non-teaching related, just to help me organize my thoughts a little bit. And I do have them all on my laptop sitting down here on the floor, so if you see me continuously looking down, it's because I'm reading the questions. And yeah, let's get started. Question number 1 says, how to do well in a teacher interview? How long do you feel like a rookie? So as far as teacher interviews go, I feel like the more you prepare, obviously, the better you do. And the best way that I have found to prepare was by putting together a teaching portfolio. I actually have a whole video on what was inside my teaching portfolio when I was a first-year teacher before I got my first job. I have since updated it and put some things in with actual examples from my classroom, but I will link that video above in the cards if you're interested in seeing what my teaching portfolio looks like. Putting that portfolio together really helped me think about a lot of the answers to questions that they'd be giving me, like how would I organize my classroom? What kind of management style would I use? What is my approach to communicating with parents? I typed all of that up and put it in my portfolio, and then when I was in the interview, if they asked me a question about one of those things, I could turn and say, oh, here is the page in my portfolio where I talk about this and have picture examples. So it's kind of like a crutch, but not really. It's like a really wonderful tool that you can use in your interview. So I would definitely recommend doing a teacher portfolio for your interviews, and also just looking up videos on YouTube with different teacher interview questions and typing up your responses for them. Don't just like sit there and say, oh, I think I know how to answer that question. Like, I would write out a question and then type up a big blurb to answer it. And then I did practice interviews with David. He helped me do a lot of practice interviews beforehand as well. So I hope that gives you a little bit of help. And then as far as how long do you feel like a rookie, if you mean like teaching in general, it just all depends. It depends on the grade level and the school. My first 2 years teaching totally felt like a rookie. Year 3, I was at the same school, same grade level, and I was like, I've got this, I can do this. And now I'm at a new school and I feel like a rookie again. So I feel like anytime you change grade levels or change schools, you feel like you're kind of starting all over in a sense, but you kind of get your handle on things and kind of get a grip on things after you've done it 2 or 3 years. Okay, the next question, this one is a good one. What are some things to prepare before getting a teacher job? So, first one is a warning. A warning against just going and buying a lot of things for your classroom. Only buy things that you know for sure you're going to need. Like things that I have recommended are some storage items. You'll definitely need some storage things like maybe the clear scrapbook cases from Michaels, or I love my buckets from Michaels, my colored buckets that I keep math games in. I also got a student mailbox thing because I knew whatever school I ended up at, I wanted a solid, sturdy piece of furniture organization to use for my student mailboxes. So those were like the things that I would recommend buying before you get your teaching job. But as far as like what I would recommend you doing, sit down. And even this can be even before you get a job, or if you know what grade level and you've already got your job but you're waiting to set up. Like I'd sit down and walk through like an entire day of school and plan out every single routine that you want to do. Like, how do you want your kids to come into your classroom? What does that look like step by step for them? How are you going to do pencil sharpening in your classroom? Because a lot of those things are your personal preference and not necessarily mandated by the school. Now, when you get a job, will you have to adjust some of those things? Sure. But it's really helpful to start thinking step by step through all of that, because that's what you're going to do the first week of school anyways. So if you already have a list of all of your procedures, like pack up, restroom procedures, pencil procedures, how are students going to raise their hand? How are they going to sit when they're in the carpet? How do you want them to sit at their desk? How are you going to have them turn in work? All of those things, if you've already typed it up and done step by step, then you're preparing yourself for the first day of school and the first week of school, and you already have an outline that you can use to teach your students. So I think that's probably like the biggest thing I would recommend. Once you find out about your job, the next thing I would recommend is get your hands on their curriculum. Like start to look through it, understand the pieces and the parts, because that's something that this year I wish I had done sooner, because it's really hard to learn a new curriculum while you're teaching at the same time. So like definitely get a hand on curriculum materials and start thinking about how you're going to lesson plan through those. The next question is, what is the biggest challenge in teaching? And I would say a lot of teachers probably agree with this right now, but especially in this post-COVID world, I think the biggest challenge is definitely behavior. And it's something that I don't feel like I learned a lot about in college on how to manage student behavior. And I wish I had, because we learned how to do all the 20,000 page lesson plans and reading and math and all the content areas. But if you cannot manage classroom behavior and have steps and a plan in place for that, then how are you going to get to content? So I would say the biggest, and I think a lot of teachers, especially this year, would echo that behavior is definitely the biggest challenge, shortly followed by parent communication. So start thinking about what you want your behavior management plan to look like, what kind of classroom management strategies you would like to use in your classroom, and those are great things to include in a teaching portfolio and to type up, like I mentioned before, to get you ready for your first job. Because I'm not gonna lie, behaviors are definitely difficult, and even like the most seasoned and a veteran teacher still struggles with those things. The next question is, how do you nail down procedures and expectations from day one? First step, write them out. I already shared that like 3 times, but write them out and have a plan for you. Like, you need to know step by step what the procedure looks like so that you can teach it to your students. So your whole first week of school should all be procedures. You practice it, you teach it to them step by step, you model it. Oh my goodness, model it. I teach first grade, and I would say that even like upper grade teachers would agree with this too. Like on the first day of school, when we do pack up, I have a poster with pictures, and it shows step by step what we do. And then I model the whole thing. I said, okay, I'm going to come and take my papers to the teacher. Then the teacher is going to give me my folder. I'm like, watch how I take my folder. And I'm really picky about pack up. Like, I want my students to go in a big circle so it's not like ants and chaos running everywhere. So I always show them, I say, we're gonna walk a big circle. What shape? And they say, big circle. I'm like, that's right, big circle around the room. And I walk and I show them where to go. And then the first couple students who do it, I like continue to talk through the steps and say, wow, look at that. They got their folder from the tray. Now they're going to go to their mailbox to get this. Watch them go. Let's watch them walk the big circle. They kind of feel like movie stars for a minute. But like, I am very explicit and model it like super well. That way when you come to like October or like the spring, the kids can do it on their own. And when a sub comes in and they're like, pack up was so easy. Yes, it was so easy. We have a poster with all the expectations, and my kids have been doing it since day one, and I was super explicit with how I taught it. So definitely plan out. So, okay, let me like sum this up because I feel like I rambled a lot. Plan out what your routines and procedures are going to be step by step. Step 2, explicitly teach them and model them over and over and over again in the first week. Part 3, visuals help. So I have a poster for our expectations for math games. I have a poster for what we do in the afternoon and how we pack up. I have a slide that I put on my board that shows the 4 steps that they do in the morning. And this year what I did was I put pictures of my students on it. So it's really cute. I can't show it to you because it has student pictures, but like step 1, they come in and put their folder in their cart. So like the 3rd week of school, I started adding these pictures and I said, okay, can you come and stand like you're putting your folder in your cart, and I'm gonna take a picture. I was like, go put your folder in your cart, and I took a picture, and then I put that on the slide. And I think the next step is like, put your backpack away. So I have a picture of one of the students in my class putting their backpack away, and they really love seeing themselves on that slide. And I haven't changed the pictures out, but you could. It would be like super easy to do. So I would say, outline it yourself, model and explicitly teach, and then have visuals and posters that you can refer to. And that should help you get a good start with procedures and expectations. All right, the next question is, would you ever pick a different grade level? I do love first grade. It's the only grade I've taught. I have done field placement experiences in other grades, and I like teaching phonics, which is really ironic because in college I was like, I will never teach a kid how to read, but I do like teaching phonics. So I would like to stay in primary grades, but I'm definitely not opposed to upper elementary. I like math a lot, and I loved math throughout high school, and so I feel like if I went to upper elementary and went to somewhere that was departmentalized, I definitely would want to be a math teacher. And I do like the idea of having like the same lesson and teaching 3 different groups of kids or however many different groups, because you can really like perfect your lessons and be really good at what you're teaching. And I feel like your brain isn't as all over the place. Of course, it presents different challenges completely. It's a whole nother ballgame. But I would definitely be open to teaching other grade levels. Next question says, do you feel burnt out from teaching this year? Yes. It's been a really rough year if we're having honesty and transparency right now. And it is April 2nd when I'm filming this video right now, and I am counting down the days. I think it's like 38 or something till summer. I'm definitely counting down. I need a break. I need a summer. I need to regroup because this year has definitely worn me thin. It's been very hard switching schools and living in a new state and having to do all of the things like making friends just for my social life in general, finding a new church, getting plugged in with a small group. My husband's doing a new job. We're in a new apartment. We've moved. I'm trying to learn new curriculums and new teammates and a new school. And it's like, yeah. So yeah, it's definitely burned me out a little bit. So I'm looking forward to this summer to getting some rest and relaxation. And I've really been prioritizing not doing anything for work at home and just enjoying my weekend. Like, I don't have to sit and stress about school over the weekend. I can go have dinner with friends, go play pickleball, go do whatever, work on YouTube stuff, and just enjoy my weekends and not feel guilty about that. Okay, the next question says, do you see yourself teaching for decades, or would you want to try something else? If you weren't a teacher, what would you be doing? No, I do not see myself teaching for decades, but here's why. When I have kids, and I know I've shared this in another Q&A, when I have kids, I will not be teaching because I want to be able to raise my kiddos right, and I want to give a lot of time and energy into how I parent, and I know I can't do that when I'm a teacher. Lots of people do, and I'm not saying that you can't do both, but for my personality, like, teaching is, it takes a lot of time and a lot of energy, and I know I wouldn't have what I want to pour into my kids. So one day I will step away from teaching to start a family. Will I come back to teaching? Maybe. If I wasn't doing teaching, I could definitely see myself, I've toyed around the idea of working at a university level. I have my undergrad, my bachelor's, and I have my master's, and so I've toyed around the idea of maybe going back to school or doing online school when I have kids, and maybe teaching at a university level or helping in some way, like being a supervisor for interns or something at the university level one day. That would be really fun. Or I could just do something completely different, and I have no idea what that would be, but we would figure it out when we get there. So to answer that question, no, I don't see myself teaching for decades and decades, but I do love it right now in this season that I'm in. That's the end of all of the teaching section of questions. So these last few questions are just random, personal life, completely off topic. Okay, the first question says, how long have you been married? Easy answer, almost 3 years. It will be 3 years in June. The next question is, when do you want kids and how many? I've definitely answered this one before in another Q&A. Yes, we do want kids, probably in like 2 years or so, and I would like 2. So how's that for being like super specific? That's my answer to that question. Next question is, if you could go back in time to any time, what would you go back to? And definitely college. I loved my years in college. I was in the marching band on the drum line at Auburn, and I loved it. That's when I met David. We got to play at the football games and travel, and I was learning all about how to be a teacher, and I loved my teaching classes. So I would definitely go back to my college days, and I have like one regret, and that is that I didn't get a minor in Spanish. So if I could go back in time to that time period, I would get a minor in Spanish as well. So there you go, definitely college. And then the last question is always one of my favorites to answer in Q&As, and it says, tell me about your mom, because my mom follows my teaching account, and so every time I post a Q&A box, this is the one that she posts. So my mom is amazing. She teaches kindergarten. She's a rock star. She raised me so well. I love her. I miss her, and I talk to her on the phone almost every single day when I leave work. So there's a little bit about my mom in a nutshell. So I miss you, Mom. Thanks for putting this question in the question box again. So that concludes the Q&A video for today. I hope that answered some of your questions. Make sure you're following me on Instagram because I would love to do another one of these Q&A videos another time, and you can drop your questions in the box for the next one. So if you don't follow me, go follow me there. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up to like it and support my channel, and subscribe so you can see more teaching content coming up. And again, I just wanted to give a huge shout out and thank you to Zenith for sponsoring today's video. Don't forget that all of the links and the information for the glasses that I'm wearing and just for their site in general are in the description box below, and you can use the code Allen to get 50% off of your frames and 10% off of your lenses for your next pair. That is all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.